Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to another RF Crypto video. On today's markets, it went up by almost 2.5%. The global crypto market cap is standing almost at 2 trillion again. A couple of weeks ago, it was down to 1.5, 1.6 trillion. Everyone was panicking. Things weren't going well in the crypto markets. Everything was going down. But now it's starting to make its inevitable slow recovery. The crypto markets have been up by about 15 to 20% in the last 7 days. And I think this is mainly due to the fact that the tech stocks are doing very well in the United States. So the Nasdaq is also up by over 5%, which means the cryptocurrency markets also went up by an amplified effect. Because whenever the Nasdaq goes up, cryptocurrencies go up by a multiple of more than 2. When Nasdaq goes down, cryptocurrencies go down by a factor that is greater than 2 as well. So at this point, the markets are doing very well. Everything is up. I just hope that this trend continues going forward, and I just hope that the 2022 or 2021-2022 bear market is finally over. But we'll have to see in the next few days how this pans out. It could be an accumulation of long positions, and if these get wiped out, the price of cryptos could go down again. But I think now it's reaching a steady, healthy pace where it will slowly start to creep up and reach the 50,000 mark, which is the next resistance level that we're looking at. A very important thing that I wanted to speak about was definitely the leverage. It's nearly at all-time highs. It made a significant drop. By significance, I mean, 10% is not that much, but it quickly recovered, and it's recovering. And with this sort of mini bull market, I think that the leverage ratio is going to overtake the all-time highs, and it's going to reach somewhere between 0.23 and 0.25. A lot of people are going to be willing to take risks because if you look at here, last week, people were extremely fearful at 20 in terms of the fear and greed index. And now the greed has doubled basically. People are only fearful now at 45. So the fear is being washed out of the market. People are becoming more willing to invest in cryptos. People are willing to take more risks. And with more risks come more leverage and a lot of more people taking on derivative positions such as futures and options, especially in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and by extent Solana and Polkadot. And I think we will see this leverage ratio going up due to a greater bet. There is a link between an increase in the fear and greed index and an increase in the leverage ratio, which has been going on since Bitcoin's inception. And I think this is mainly due to the fact that whenever leverage hits a massive drop, as it did here, it gets wiped out of the market. It is a bearish signal. The markets are moving in the opposite side of where it's expected to move, and the markets react negatively, so the prices go down. And when prices go down by quite a significant margin, let's say 15, 20, 25%, the markets become more fearful. And when they become more fearful, they're less willing to take risks. And when they're less willing to take risks, they're less likely to take on leverage positions. So there is a trend of increasing price and increasing leverage because of the risk-taking appetite of the crypto investors. Shiba Inu's SHIB rockets 26%, leads Memecoin gains. So several dog-themed tokens were the top gainers on Monday amid a recovery in the broader crypto market. So as we spoke before, there was a recovery in the global crypto market, and in the last 24 hours, Shiba Inu went up by more than 26%. So if you had $10,000 worth of Shiba Inu yesterday, now it's worth $12,600. And it is a very, very big step because Shiba Inu and Doge are the leaders of meme coins. And wherever those coins go, the rest of the meme coins follow. So if Shiba Inu and Doge go up, all of the other meme coins go up, and vice versa. When it goes down, all of the other meme coins go down. And in this case, Shiba Inu saw this massive, massive rally. It wasn't just randomly. It was because developers unveiled a tie-up with Wellies, which is a fast food chain selling burgers and fries. The partnership basically involves rebranding Wellies stores to include Shiba Inu themed products and imagery, and the issuance of NFTs for customers. Also, community members can buy products using SHIB and participate in Wellies expansion via Shiba Inu's decentralized governance forum, Doggy DAO. So, Shiba is seen as a meme coin. It's always traditionally seen as a meme coin. And now we're seeing more utility of it. We're seeing it get into the Metaverse space in terms of NFTs. It's going to start having utility due to it being able to mint NFT in its network, and now it's starting to do this with Wellies. And if it keeps growing, if it keeps expanding, I think a lot of these partnerships are going to start coming along with these so-called meme coins, and the meme coins will slowly turn into more metaverse related tokens that have to do with partnerships with brands like Wellies and the issuance of NFTs, and maybe even, partnerships with stores or any companies that are in the metaverse, so in Decentraland or in the sandbox. So there is a corporate argument for Bitcoin. MicroStrategy's CEO Michael Saylor likened his company's performance to rowing a boat against wind blowing harder than one could row. Is Bitcoin really the way out? It's the public company that has the most Bitcoin in its portfolio. So before buying all that Bitcoin, it was already one of the largest independent publicly traded companies in the industry. Just in 2020, its revenue was 480 million and it had a 8.29% EBITDA, which is extremely high for a company in this industry. MicroStrategy had a lot of cash in hand and it didn't want to have cash because of inflation. It would erode its cash position. So it looked elsewhere to invest. And also, the Federal Reserve's response in 2020 to the pandemic with massive quantitative easing helping pushing equity markets to new highs, and investors favoring speculative growth stocks such as Tesla and tech monopolies such as Apple and Amazon. And these soaring stock prices allowed the companies to make larger acquisitions and use their valuations to expand their operations with historically cheap capitals, sending their stocks higher and higher and higher. And what this means is that the quantitative easing basically lowered interest rate and injected a lot of cash in the market. So there was a lot of cheap credit available in the market because you could go to a bank and get a loan for very, very cheap, almost 0% interest rates. And companies and people didn't know what to do with this money. I mean, we have all this cash at hand and inflation is high, what do we do? So they put their money in Tesla, Apple, and Amazon, among other blue chip stocks. And all this money started flooding into the stock market, and that's what led to the massive, massive increase in the prices of especially companies in the NASDAQ. But MicroStrategy took a little bit of a different route. On August 11th, 2020, they announced the purchase of almost 22,000 Bitcoin for $250 million. While Michael Saylor considered the purchase defensive, between August 10th of 2020 and the first week of 2021, the price of MicroStrategy stock rose 263% from $146 to $531. So if you invested in MicroStrategy in 2020 and didn't sell, very, very well done. And those who didn't want to stake in the company buying Bitcoin were offered a way to cash out through a 250 million cash tender offer via a modified Dutch auction, which saw around $60 million in redemptions. So they gave $250 million, only $60 million were taken. A lot of people believed in MicroStrategy, not a lot of people wanted out in MicroStrategy, and a lot of people actually stayed invested in MicroStrategy. And since its first Bitcoin purchase, MicroStrategy hasn't slowed down. They now purchased 0.66 of the entire supply of Bitcoin at an average price of about $30,000. So that's about 12 million Bitcoin. And they're now, with current prices, they're now profiting about, let's say, $12,000 per Bitcoin, which is just incredible to think about. They saw an opportunity and they took it. And they didn't stop there. They even invested at tops. They invested when the price was $57, $58, $60,000, and it's just part of their strategy. They just want to increase the amount of Bitcoin they have in their portfolio in order to hedge against inflation. They're able to do this because they purchase so much Bitcoin at low prices that even if the average purchase price of Bitcoin goes up to, let's say, 35,000, they're still doing very well and in massive profits. More importantly, if all of it pans out, MicroStrategy may maintain its purchasing power, hedging against inflation, and potentially even outperforming the broader stock market. And while many criticize Bitcoin's volatility and tendency to drop by 50% seemingly on a whim, Saylor appears to be unconcerned. His response to the criticism is that either you can die a slow death, facing the blows of a devaluing dollar and a soaring stock market, or you can fight. And if Bitcoin's price can outpace inflation, it is a good investment as opposed to holding cash. They are very, very right. Bitcoin in the last 2 years has outperformed inflation, and if Bitcoin adoption becomes widespread, the price obviously will go up because supply is limited and demand will be basically more than 10 times. So the price might even go up to 500,000 per Bitcoin, and that would make MicroStrategy one of the richest companies in the world. And I think this is Michael Saylor's long-term strategy. Just hold, 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 purchase, purchase, purchase. And that's the corporate argument for Bitcoin. So crypto miner Merkle is among the first to get Bitmain's newest liquid cooling mining rigs. They'll receive 4,449 S19 Pro Plus hydros from Bitmain in May. And this uses liquid cooling technology, which reduces heat, power consumption, and noise, as well as extends the lifespan of the machine. So there has been talks, obviously, for many years that Bitcoin is very, very hungry in terms of electricity and causes global warming. So having technology that reduces power consumption and obviously noise, both global warming and noise pollution, is very good for the industry because it makes mining greener. And the fact that I saw somewhere here that they expect to be net carbon negative by the end of this year means that even though they're producing Bitcoin and even though they're using almost 500 megawatts of electricity, they're net carbon negative, which means that the amount of carbon dioxide that they pull out of the atmosphere is more than what they put into the atmosphere, let's say via planting of trees or any other tactics that they use in order to reduce their carbon footprint. So them actually contributing to the reduction in global warming means that Bitcoin mining has become green to an even extreme extent. Meta marriage. Decentraland hosts its first Metaverse wedding. So a Phoenix couple in the US tied the knot with their digital identities this weekend in the first marriage to take place in the Metaverse. It took place in Decentraland with witnesses, a Supreme Court justice officiant, and a virtual crowd of 2,000 guests. It was the first ever wedding hosted on the blockchain-based Metaverse, and it was held on Rose Law Group's estate on Decentraland. And the law group developed a meta marriage framework by incorporating a virtual premarital agreement which identified the couple's virtual identities and digital assets as they're recorded on the blockchain. The marriage got tokenized, so the meta marriage license got tokenized, and it's part of an NFT. So it's publicly available, it's forever in the blockchain, and you can access and you can verify that they're actually married. And it was very smart for them to have it in a law group's estate because they're the best ones. They know the law. They can actually formulate a framework or they can formulate documentation to make this virtual marriage actually legal. And although the wedding is a first of its kind in many ways, it's certainly not the only instance of a couple wanting to immortalize their marriage on the blockchain. In April 2021, a Californian couple who worked on the crypto exchange Coinbase wrote an Ethereum smart contract to issue tokenized rings as NFTs during their wedding. Also in 2014, the Disney World Bitcoin Conference hosted the first blockchain wedding, recording the following message on-chain: for better or for worse, till death do us part, because the blockchain is forever. I think there were a couple of issues in terms of uptime in Decentraland. There were problems because the network kept going down because it couldn't handle 2,000 people at a time. And it's understandable because the metaverse is all hype, but there's very little going on. So there's very little reason for Decentraland to upgrade their servers. Once things start to ramp up, I think that they're going to scale and they're going to be able to handle a lot more people. And we never thought that we could have such a virtual wedding in the metaverse, but here we are. And I wonder what's going to come up next. It's very exciting times. We're moving from real weddings in palaces to virtual weddings in the metaverse. And with a pandemic and with the restriction of movement and with the restriction of people, I think these type of events are going to become a lot more common. We're going to maybe start seeing a lot more weddings, a lot more engagement receptions, a lot more birthdays or birthday parties, and just a lot of get-togethers in the metaverse. So exciting times ahead. Let's see what happens. And with that, we come to the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, please hit the subscribe button, and share this video with your family and friends. And I'll see you for the next one. Thank you for watching, and invest wisely. Cheers.